Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today's story is about respect. And it's a story from South Africa, from the Zulus, who are the biggest tribe in South Africa and who just got a new king, by the way. The story is called The Disrespectful Man. And it goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a handsome boy, and he was in love with a beautiful girl, the most beautiful girl inside and outside in the whole land. Everybody thought so. Now, one day that boy was walking along the river, and he saw a pig sort of scampering up the side of the river, and it was hard, it was slippery, but then eventually the little pig made it, and once it was up, it ran towards the boy. And the boy was disgusted by that filthy pig who had a whole stream of mud behind him. The pig was just saying hello, and the boy really didn't want anything to do with it. Spat right in front of him. The pig was deeply offended by this and said to him, "One day somebody will spit at you and you will see what that is like." Well, the boy, when he heard those words, he didn't pay much attention to it. He just smiled at that silly little pig. And he thought so highly of himself that, he came from a good family and all. He said, nobody is ever going to do me any harm, let alone spit at me. When he looked around a bit further, he saw a group of people just finishing the harvest. And he saw, a big bag of corn, and somehow his gaze fell on little brown rat who was trying to get in that bag of corn, and impulsively that boy, he just kicked the rat as far as he could. And when the rat, all dazed, got his wits together a bit further on, he turned around and he said to the young man, "Shame on you. Wait, someday you may be as hungry as I am, and then people will kick you and keep you away from the food that you want to eat." Again, the boy looked with scorn at the little mouse and walked away. A couple of months later, he was invited for a sort of a pre-wedding party at the beautiful girl's house. And through a mediator, that's how these things go in most of Africa, he was invited to this party, and he was walking there together, and on the way the mediator said, "Now you must, be at your very best behavior for this party. So you should not be greedy, and keep eating and stuff like that. That will not look good. So I will give you a gentle kick under the table. And when you get that kick, that means stop eating. It'll be all right." So they sat down, and the boy was hungry after that long walk over there, and it was delicious food. So they all started eating, and after a very little while, there was a cat who brushed by his feet. And he thought, oh, that must be the sign. Yeah, so he stopped eating. He was actually surprised that everybody still seemed to be eating. After dinner, everybody was told where to go to sleep. And the young man was really still very hungry. And he just thought, okay, I'll get some food later in the evening. when everybody was asleep, he snuck down stairs and in the kitchen and looked around where there was the food, and he saw the pots with the food, and he looked for a spoon, but he couldn't find a spoon. But he was so hungry, so he grabbed one of those big pots with food and just ate directly from it. And once he was fully satisfied, his stomach was no longer growling. He wanted to put, the pot down, but somehow, when he was gulping up all the food, the handle of the pot had slipped over his neck, so he could not get out. He was stuck. The pot was stuck on his head. And no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get it off. So in the end, he just went outside and just sat down and thought, okay, I better wait until morning. Next morning, people come out and they see him. And of course, they laugh. They call everybody from the village to come and look at this silly, greedy boy. And some of them spat on him. Others kicked him. And finally, when one of the members of the household managed to get the pot out of him, he disappeared like a bolt of lightning so fast and was never seen again. Now, this story was told wide and far all over Zulu land. And that boy, his reputation was so stained that he never found a new girlfriend again. And of course, he was so embarrassed that what the pig and the rat had said had come true. So the message of this story is, if you show no respect, then you will get stuck in life, or even literally as the boy in this story. Show respect, and respect will follow you. Thank you.